Yeah, what a week. Uh, All right. Hello, absolutely beautiful astrology friends and soulmates. I'm thrilled to be here again, live with you. And wow, what a week we've got going on. What a week we're coming out of, right? Lots of big energies. I'm even coming to you live today, coming off of the Mars Uranus energy that is mixed up in the air out there. And I was like, I have to get this energy moving and out of my space a bit. So I'm coming to you from the gym. Like, this is the vibe today for a minute, friends. But I am hoping that you are doing well out there as we're coming into the week because we are coming into the week of the 16th through the 22nd. It's been fury, there's been fire, there's been disruption, there's been a lot of deep truth revealing energy that's been going on over this weekend. Truly, that Mars in Leo, making the square to Uranus and Taurus. And then we had Jupiter, who's moved into the vibration of Cancer, squaring against Saturn in Aries. That's a lot of like major fixed cardinal tension under that Jupiter Saturn. Globally, we've seen a lot happening. We've seen authoritarian responses, some real shifts in some leadership narratives. And this is not just, central to one region. When we look around, we can see that this has happened. Lots of escalations, right? So I'm not a mundane astrologer. We're not going to take it there. I like to pull us into where we've seen this energy working on a personal level. And if you're watching this on Sunday, you can even be using this energy kind of the same way I did to choose how you're going to have a response to these, because on a personal level, many of us over the weekend may have felt this urge, right, to kind of break free. I want to break free. I want to break out of something. I want to do something, but mostly I want to break free from patterns, from what feels like too much pressure, right? Or we've been confronting these old limiting ideas, methods, beliefs. They're just not working, especially things around safety, around leadership, and around family. So it has been a whole bunch of a weekend. So if you're here joining me live, welcome. Love being here with you. As always, as I'm breaking down the week, there are going to be timestamps and I will put those together as soon as this live video is ended. So if you're watching back, not here at the live, you can click in the description box down below and get the timestamps for every day this week. Okay. All right. Now, this week, I don't think we're exactly on a settle down as the energies are playing out, but we are transitioning for sure. Mars is going to move into Virgo this week, which is slower, it's more meticulous, and that gives us kind of this really needed shift. I think that we have been craving fully out of the retrograde sign terrain because Mars has been dancing between Cancer and Leo for quite some times. We've had a lot of like water fire sign overstimulation, honestly. So now we're going to be able to move that forward. But don't get too comfy because now Jupiter this week, done squaring against that Saturnian energy, now needs to square against Neptune that's in Aries. So we're going to shift, and maybe there can be a stirrup of maybe illusions, a little bit of disillusionment can be coming up. So, we need to be aware of that, especially any false hopes that we've been holding on to. We're going to confront those this week as well. Now, we're also going to see, though, that the sun moves into Cancer on Friday, bringing us into the solstice, a powerful rebirth moment available to us this week. It's natural in the year, so we're very much so in alignment with the way that nature is moving. So we still have a plenty busy week. We're alive, we're here, we're doing it. So hopefully we'll enjoy walking through what's available for us this week. Now, as always, if you're on this journey of astrology, you've got to have your own chart to really make this come alive and be juicy. So please make sure you have your own chart, whether you're using a free version that you can get from Cafe Astrology, astro.com, any one of those sites, or you have want to purchase a chart from me, you can click in the description box down below and get it. And if you're new on the journey to astrology, grab my free guide. It's free, Unlocking Astrology. It's over on my website at stormiegrace.com. It's the basics. There's a treasure chest of resources available to you, where you can get help, books, all of these kinds of things. So go ahead down there and grab it. Oh, I also have a free event coming up this week on the 18th if you are available, and I hope you are, with Llewellyn Con. I've never done this before, but it's completely free for you to attend, and it's promoting my new book that is now available for pre-sale. So plenty of things, all good things available for you in the description box down below, including those timestamps. Okay, friends. Hi, Anne. Let's jump into what is going on this week in our sky, okay? So first of all, we're coming into the week on Moon Day, our Moon Day, Monday, with the moon in the vibration of Aquarius. We're going to see a short votive course, and then the moon will move into Pisces. But as we're coming in on Monday, we're in that more mentally charged realm of Aquarius. Now, Pluto is also hanging out over here as well. So, first of all, we can be put in this position where we're coming in and it's like, I need to solve everything. I feel like I really just emotionally, to even calm myself, I need to get some solutions and I need to solve everything like all at once today. That can be the energy coming in on Monday. And so, where that energy may have us craving this innovation or feeling like we want to reach out for community, we want to make sense of things that have been happening emotionally for us, or any emotional upheaval that is presenting itself. What I'm going to say is hold tight, like explore a little bit, be flexible. Remember, anytime we're in the terrain of anything Uranian, which Aquarius being ruled by both Uranus and Saturn in modern astrology, we need to stay flexible enough to bend and not break and be curious and experiment. Then we're going to have midday, a short time that I think we will crave, where we get to settle down into a little bit of the moon being void, of course, where it's like, okay, hold on, let's pause. Let's just pause here for a quick moment and take a break. Now, this is going to be your opportunity to remember that the universe is kind. We don't need to make big decisions for just a little bit of time until the moon starts making contact again or moves into Pisces, which it will do. Now, as we get down later in the day and the moon moves into that Pisces vibration, we're going to shift from air to water. So we move from just being in the mind to being in the soul, the intuition, right? So if you're feeling, first of all, for some of you, this will be your lunar return for the month, and there's a whole signature of what's unfolding for you for the month right there. You can check out my lunar return video at the end of this video to see what that's all about. But for some of you, you may, as the moon moves into this Pisces sign on Monday, feel a bit foggy or a bit fatigued, right? But also, where I think the thing to connect to how you have the experience is, do you feel like you're dropped more into being connected to that spiritual body or to a spiritual practice that you're finding grounding in? Earlier in the day, you were just trying to use your mind, use your mind, use your mind, which there's nothing wrong with that. But it's like, I need to solve everything. And by the end of the day, it's like, I need to check in with my intuition. I need to check in with my dream work and my dream life, my rest cycles, and I need a place to soften into myself and into practices around me, right? With so much action going on in the sky, I think by the end of the day on Monday, that moon in us wants to surrender, not solve. And so that is a place that you can absolutely lean into. Now, coming into the vibration on Tuesday, we're going to see that the sun, who's still in Gemini at this particular point, is in a sextile to Chiron, that's in Aries. And then, of course, we'll see, down the road here in a minute, which is not very down the road. But we're going to see that Mars is going to move into Virgo as well. But let's talk first about this Sun Chiron. So the sun being here in Gemini, it's still fast, it's curious, there's a lot of light, there's a lot of thoughts, there's a lot of communication, and all of that is going to square this sextile, which is a pocket of opportunity, but we're intelligently taking action on it with Chiron, our wounded healer energy, and it's in Aries. Now, this is going to be very early in the morning. So we're talking 12:15 a.m. Again, this is Mountain Time, Colorado time. So if you are a part of our crew that is up and you're working at that time, or you're you're up for whatever reason has you up at that time, you'll be very present to this particular transit and interaction. Now, where this is useful for us in that Tuesday day for all of us is that if you have struggled to speak up about something, or you've struggled to own up to something, if you've struggled with owning your intellect or an idea that you have, if you've struggled to stand verbally in your truth, or even let's not underestimate the power of body language, that is speaking, right? Have you literally struggled to stand in your truth? This is that potent kind of energy that says, try that again. Let's try that again, right? Like say it with your chest out. It's a little bit Leo. Say it with your chest out. So I think that we can expect on Tuesday in general, under this aspect as it trickles in through the day, to have a few more to expect meaningful conversations, especially around things where maybe we had a wound before, things that have to do with what's the purpose of this, what's my purpose, what's something shaping around my or an identity. We can expect to see those in Tuesday. Later, just when I say later, I mean like 2 hours later, okay? Because it's not like later. It's like here we are, and it's not even 2 hours. I think it's like an hour and a half. We see that the Sun and Chiron come in contact with each other, and then like an hour and a half later, we see Mars officially make that move into Virgo. So now we're going to shift our action and our doing from that big, bold, say it with your chest out, more theatrical, more fire energy of Leo to being practical and precise and grounded in that earthy energy. And I'm telling you, for so many of us, this is going to be such a welcome reset, especially if you have been feeling burnt out, if you've been feeling scattered, okay? Mars is going to be here in Virgo, mastering routines, mastering health, mastering your nervous system. Mars here says, let's clean this up. We have to clean this up, right? Let's get this organized. Oh, slow down and come back to your nervous system, to your body. For those of you doing the Venus Reset program, which is still available for everyone, I think you are going to love this transit, and I am really curious to hear how this works as you're experiencing going through that and coming back to yourself. Now, Mars is still Mars, and all energies have a shadow side as well. This business of trying to do something in a way of over perfection is going to lead to more burnout and more micromanaging, right? Remember, the South Node is traveling through Virgo. So there are some things that are producing anxiety for us. They've been producing anxiety for us, but now we'll have a chance to slow down enough, check in with our nervous systems, check in with our pelvic bowls, and go, now, wait a minute. Why am I doing this way? It's producing anxiety for me. It's telling me this story of I'm not enough, it's not enough, right? And all of that is coming up. So instead, I want to encourage you, if you do encounter that, if you encounter your body in the physical doing of something that you've got going on, starting to tell that story, woof, take a back up for just a second. Instead, use the energy to literally edit what you're doing, Mars, right? Make a plan to do this in a way that's more in alignment with your nervous system, with a healthy routine, with something that is sane. Organize yourself in a way that allows you to be productive, to be practical and precise without being in like self-criticism, right? Because here's the thing, and I want to just give a really prime example of this because I think this is a great example to share. There's this event, there's an event that goes on. And as we're all gathering for this event, there's a person who comes and her job is to make the coffee. Okay, right? That's her role for us right now. That's her service, Virgo, very, very Virgo service position. Her job is to make the coffee. Now, what happens is when she comes in and she's there, 15, 20 minutes early, she makes the coffee machine gets set up. If anything goes wrong or weird, she's able to adjust and handle that, and it's smooth sailing, right? What happens when that is not the case and she's trying to roll in here 5 minutes before it's time for all of us to be having coffee is, man, she's coming in with, first of all, rush, 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 rush. And you can see she's frazzled. She's knocking things over. And then it's like, if I was just a better person, the coffee pot would work. No, no, right? This is an opportunity to say, okay, where can I be practical and precise? Where can I organize myself in a way that there's enough time for me to leave time for things to go crazy, but I'm organized myself in a way that allows me to be where I need to be and bring a more calm or practical and precise presence to what it is that I'm doing. I hope that this makes some sense and is a good example. And listen, if I were to open up the Rolodex of times that I've been rolling in 5 minutes before coffee was due, there's plenty of work to be done here. So it's an opportunity for all of us as Mars moves into Virgo to clean this thing up, right? Okay, on Wednesday, I actually love the vibration of Wednesday. Now we're going to get to Wednesday and get to midday. So we're going to get to about 12:20 p.m. Mountain Time, okay? And we're going to come into the position of the last quarter moon at 27 Pisces. I really get excited about following the lunar families because it's an opportunity, it's an opportunity for all of us to have a little dopamine hit, but it is an opportunity to really see astrology at work as well, because it's a very special time. It closes out a 2.5 year cycle that we've been working on, and it began at the new moon, and now we're bringing something to a close. So we each have an opportunity to grab our planners, grab our calendars, and look back to see where we've been. We're not just going in circles around here. We're really not, right? So this particular cycle, first of all, kicked off at the new moon at 0 degrees of Aries if we go back to March 21st of 2023. And yes, that is not in the sign of Pisces, but it is in very close orb. So we're going to start our lunar cycle there. Now, at that time, what was happening for you is we were planting seeds of intention, new identity, new visions coming through that new identity. Now, that cycle hit its next key point of action in the first quarter energy when we got to December of 2023. So go back. What was happening for you? What were you doing? What were you working on? December 19th of 2023, you would have been in action. And that moon was at 27 degrees of Pisces. So bang on. What were you in action? Now, the other thing that could have been happening for you at that time is that people, places, and things might have been falling out of your life like crazy, like your eyelashes were blown back, how quickly things were moving. But your job at that time would have been to build. You become a builder, take action, trust your instinct, move something forward at that particular time. So, what was that for you? Now, as we come around and we have major truths revealed to us about what we were building, that would have been the full moon time, September of 2024. And at this particular time, September 18th of 2024. Let me make sure I give you specific dates. We had a full moon lunar eclipse happening at 25 degrees of Pisces. Do you guys remember this? What was revealed? Because more was revealed, right? In some way. Now, one of the things that would have been happening is that we first of all wanted to hopefully take an opportunity to celebrate something that you built at that time, something that you'd been working on since March of 2023, was like a whole bunch of light was shown on it and you built something. And from there, we would have needed to end something, acknowledge something, or make an adjustment to pivot so that we could commit to what still needed to be done and was still valuable and part of our purpose, right? But lots of light in the sky was shown on us at that particular time. And now, as we're here at this last quarter moon that is happening, June 18th of 2025 at that 27 degrees of Pisces, which again, make sure you locate this in your chart. Now we're bringing this to a time of closure, of integration, of recognition. You've done it. Over this last 2.5 years, you've done it. You've built. So today, I would invite you to reflect. What have you learned? How have your instincts matured? How has your intuition matured? Where have you surrendered and you're more comfortable with surrendering control of something? Because that Pisces moon is really about helping us to release, and we release with compassion. But then we also have that bit of energy where it's traveling through Aries as well, right? And it was like, hey, we need to move with some new fire in this identity, and the fire is loaded with compassion as well. Now, we'll also, I think, experience a hit of that Aries energy just later in the day when we get to about 4 p.m., because we're going to have the moon shift into Aries now. And again, that life, that fire, I think, starts to return to us emotionally, and we kind of get a little oomph, hump day to make it through the rest of the week. Now, as soon as this moon, though, is coming into Aries, we're going to see that it's going to start these squares with Jupiter, with Saturn, with Neptune. So there is some level, I think, available of disillusion that can be available to us later in the day if we are clinging to anything that is just like this fantasy, or it's not true, over the reality. And one of the biggest fantasies or dishonesties, I like to just call it a dishonesty, I think that we can sometimes be working with, is that I'm not enough, it's not ready enough. The not enough story can creep in here just so dang subtly, and it's pervasive. It is just a corrosive thread of fear that can run through us. So let's, acknowledge. Acknowledge is the first thing. The second thing is to remember a moon in Aries emotionally says, I have a right to be here. Damn it. That is Aries energy. Now, as we're going to get a little bit later into the day, we're actually going to see that Jupiter, now in Cancer, already squared against Saturn. Now it's time to square against this Neptunian energy. And this is a cosmic wake-up call. This is a cosmic wake-up call, right? Because Jupiter in Cancer wants comfort. It wants emotional expansion. It wants belief in something benefic. And Neptune in Aries is saying, but is that real? But is that real? Is what you're trying to get comfort from, is it real? Is that emotional expansion? Is that real? Right? So this transit, much like we saw when Jupiter was squaring against Saturn as we were coming into the week, right? Much like when we saw that when Jupiter and Saturn was like, what are you doing? That is a tension that was happening here. Jupiter Neptune here it can be incredibly compassionate, it can be incredibly imaginative, or it can trigger disillusion. It can trigger cult-like thinking as well. We've seen that under this aspect as well, where we've got some escapism that could be going on. We can be spiritually bypassing. So I think the question as you encounter it here on Wednesday and take it through Thursday, and you're going, okay, but is this real? That is a totally realistic question. It's a totally realistic question. And beware of things that sound too good to be true. It doesn't mean that something new and innovative hasn't come into the world, or that you don't have something new and innovative to launch out here, but we need to see some evidence of grounded reality proof behind that before we're going to have a full buy-in to it. Okay, Friday, the moon is going to enter into Taurus. So we'll have some grounding coming along for us, right? Because that energy will have carried us through Thursday, through most of the day on Friday, and then we get to the end of the day on Friday. We're talking 6:30 p.m., 6:52 p.m. On Friday is when the moon's going to enter into Taurus, and then a little bit behind that, the sun will come into Cancer. So a much more comfortable day, I think. So first of all, let's say hello to this moon in Taurus, stabilizing us. And it's not over there with Uranus just yet. So we are coming in with a fair amount of stability, like to stabilize the week's confusion, to stabilize the week's excitement, to give us some grounding and support, anchor your body. Anchor your body, anchor your money stories, right? And I'm banging on about this Venus Reset program. Are your hips anchored into your body, anchored into something that you can ground in? When you roll those hips, do you still have crunchies? Where are the crunchies, right? Where have you found an opening and a softening that has come under this beautiful Venusian energy? And I think that the combination, as we're going to experience the energy on Friday of the moon being in this very earthy Taurus energy, and then the sun going into this wonderful water energy, is almost going to be a place to like cook a nice meal for yourself, reparent yourself for the day, do something slow, decide what legacy means to you, all of these great things. Just behind the moon moving into Taurus is when we will see the sun moving into Cancer. So first of all, happy birthday, my Cancer friends, my Cancer soulmates, and happy birthday to the Cancer area of your chart. Grab your chart. What do you have in Cancer? What house is in Cancer for you, regardless of what housing system you're using? Where is 0 degrees of Cancer on your chart? Okay. And welcome to the solstice. The sun's entry into Cancer is not just, I think, a seasonal shift for us, but it's a bit of a sacred moment because we're at another changing point, and it's a cardinal point. We're going to begin again from here. Cancer, the womb, right? The space that holds memory and family and ancestry and safety, the stories of where we come from. The solstice reminds us, I think, to come home. Come home to what truly nurtures us, where we truly feel safe, or to build that place for ourselves. So in the northern hemisphere, we're going to get this longest day of light as we come to our summer solstice. So it's a great sacred day for pausing, for acknowledging how far you've come, where you've been, the way you meet your needs with care, the way you care for others. For our friends who are in our southern hemisphere, you guys are coming into your winter. So you're also coming into a pause, and it's a pause and a reflectfulness that I think is brilliant for Friday and will carry us through Saturday as well. Now, on Sunday, we're going to have some more, I think, delicious energy is the way that I would qualify it, okay? Because we're going to come in with Mars in a sextile to Jupiter here. Mars is in Virgo now, and Jupiter is in Cancer. So we've got an Earth water sextile that's happening. And whenever there's a sextile, it's a pocket of opportunity that's of ease. It's available to you. And we're usually intelligently in action to take advantage of that. We're also going to see that the sun has come into Cancer, going to square against that Saturn in Aries, just in case, Saturn in Aries wasn't busy enough. And later in the day, we'll see the moon move into Gemini. But on Sunday, I think it is a day that we can qualify it easily as a day. There's some blessed productivity available here, right? We are going to see that Mars and Virgo in that sextile, very earthy with the water of Jupiter and Cancer. This is fabulous aspect for healing through action, through building something. I always think about when it's an earth and a water sextile that we build a mud hut, right? But it's like you can't put too much earth or it's not going to work. You can't put too much water or it's going to fall apart. It's just nicely mixed and it's coming together and creating something beautiful. It supports you, though, in other ways when we think practically. Do you need to get back to the gym? Do you need to reorganize systems in your business, in your home? I'm bringing you back all year long to that nervous system. How is that firing for you? Maybe you're helping somebody and it's calling a lot of integrity and service out of you. This is a day where those things may be seen for you as well. But the energy this day with Mars being involved does ask us to move with care, to move with the heart of a servant in that servant leadership kind of energy, and to root into Jupiter and Cancer, root into what actually works, what actually builds structure, safety, and nurturing in a way that is safe. Like there's a lot of the word safety that comes up with it. Then we meet a little bit of tension as the sun comes into that square with Saturn, and that can bring a heavier note, right? It can be heavier, but it can just, I like to look at it as mature. It brings a mature note to the day. So it can be a space where Listen, Sun square Saturn, we can feel judged. We can feel judged, we can feel limited, we can feel doubtful. And instead, I would invite you to, okay, if that not enough pervasive story is creeping in some way, or someone's even bringing it to you. You know what I mean? I've been in plenty of situations where my children have brought me, I feel like I'm not enough, and we needed to talk and walk that through. And usually, what that is for all of us is just a real sobering reality check. Okay, they don't feel good. And wouldn't it be nice if we were like, oh, I just had a sober reality check. I'm living my best life. Not typically how that goes in the human emotional landscape. But if you do find that something is coming in and it is that reality check and the emotional walls are rising up, especially around family, especially around aging, especially around parenting, especially around obligation or responsibility, take the bite with humility. Breathe, 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 breathe. Let your system come back to safety first. Breathe. When I am afraid, the first thing I do is hold my breath and tense my body. Breathe so that you can look around and go, okay, this is humbling. This is humbling, but it is here to show me the scaffolding of what matters here. What is something built out of here? And that is a place to do really good work. You know, now sometimes what happens on the other side is you are the Saturn to someone's sun, right? I've had this plenty of times where like I'd almost have rather have somebody be the Saturn to me. But sometimes, you know, it's because I'm a Venusian. I just want to always be nice. But sometimes you have to be the Saturn. And this could be a day where you're making the tough call or you're having to put a boundary in place where it is absolutely necessary. Now, when we put that together with what we've experienced earlier in the day, and you've had all this blessed productivity, right? There's a reorganization that's happening, but it comes with a sobering reality check. At the end of the day, when we're bringing our Sunday to a close, okay, we're going to have a very short void of course moon. It lasts just about an hour, but then the moon is going to move into Gemini. So by evening time, late evening into Gemini, whoo, we're going to lighten up. We're going to lighten up just a little bit. It lightens the emotional landscape just a little bit. It invites conversation. It invites journaling. It invites an opportunity to emotionally stop and process what I've seen and what I've heard and what I've felt. What are the words that my feelings need, right? And I need to put them out of me. So whether it's journaling, whether it's processing out loud with a trusted person, you know, sometimes I got to stand in the middle of the room and talk to whatever it is that's up there. And I am not picky. I'm not picky. I use whoever's on deck. I'm like, listen, if this is Jesus, if you are in today, if this is the Great Spirit, if this is who is driving today, come get me. I need help. Right? I'm like, I'm open for solution and connection. So, busy week. I'm curious. I'm feeling a lot of love and support to send out for you for whatever you encounter this week. I'm always grateful that you spend time with me. This week, ground your questions, heal, listen, believe something a little bit differently. Ask, is this real? Is this real? Grow up this week with love and compassion, and progress this week, especially with that Mars and Virgo, will remind us that progress sometimes isn't dramatic. It's ordinary. It's Tuesday. You know, nobody thinks that I'm hot tacos. It's just me being in the details of Tuesday life doing that paperwork, but it's perfect. All right, check out your lunar return video if you're having a lunar return from any one of our signs that are coming up this week. You can do that in the description box down below. Please grab your chart, put everything against your chart because your astrology is the best astrology. And I will see you at LlewelynCon. And coming up next week, I'm really excited to share an opportunity with you to get your message out, especially if you are one of our creative entrepreneur soulmates, you're an astrologer, you're a language teacher, you're a tarot person. I'll have some goods coming to you next week. And oh my gosh, let me say this too before I go. 2 weeks from now, I'm going to be bringing you the announcement of your crew that's going to be bringing you your 2026 annual horoscopes. And man, am I feeling blessed and excited. So I love you guys a ton. I look forward to seeing you all week, and I will see you, I'll see you when I